Let's speak now to Michael Sterling. He is a professor of law at Texas Southern University and a former federal prosecutor. He joins me from New York. Professor, were you surprised by how quickly the jury came back with its verdict?
No, I can't say that I was surprised. I thought that this was a pretty clear-cut case. Uh, Mr. Arbery was running down the street. There was no evidence of any crime being committed in the presence of these defendants. There was nothing about him having a weapon or anything, doing anything of any sort. And you cannot claim self-defense when you yourself caused the provocation. So I think the evidence was pretty overwhelming that these individuals were chasing him. They could never quite explain why. They just said he was running through a neighborhood and had been in the house. They couldn't explain what crime he committed, why they were chasing him, why they were running him down with a shotgun. And so I think the jury's verdict came back pretty quickly because the evidence was so overwhelming.
And the men will be sentenced next. What are you expecting from that? Do you think they'll get life without parole?
Yeah, under Georgia's law, when you're convicted of murder, I think there's a life mandatory life sentence. The question does become whether they get parole or not, whether they be eligible. You wouldn't be eligible for parole until about 25 years from now, once you're sentenced. But you can anticipate certainly a life sentence, whether it's with or without parole. Obviously, will be up to the judge's discretion.
And then the defense plans to appeal, which we often see. Do you think that they'll get anywhere with that at all?
Yeah, I think that's going to be hard. But I think what you saw during the trial, some of the tactics used, particularly by Kevin Goff, were to try and infiltrate or insinuate things about outside presence, people marching. He was trying to lay a record for a potential appeal, which is what the prosecutor pointed out repeatedly, that he was saying inflammatory things in open court, where he knew he was on national media, where he knew he would be heard and there would be a response. He was trying to sort of inflame tensions, and he was doing so strategically, according to the prosecutor, because he wanted to lay some grounds for appeal. So I think you can anticipate a lot of that coming up on appeal, but this judge handled this very, very well, did everything by the letter of the law. And I think they're gonna find some difficulty on appeal trying to get these convictions overturned.
And the Justice Department is planning to pursue hate crime charges. Do you think that has momentum now since because of this guilty verdict?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the federal charges related to civil rights violations, hate crime, related to kidnapping, I think they certainly have momentum. And the federal sentence can run consecutive with the state sentence or concurrent. So if they get 25 years with the possibility of parole, and then there's time added from the federal sentence, that could potentially mean that they're going to spend the rest of their lives in jail. So I certainly think the federal charges have momentum, and there's good reason to believe the federal prosecutors are going to move forward with their case. But I think it certainly gives a lot of momentum. They have a nice playbook from the state in terms of how they prosecuted this case effectively.
All right, and we'll leave it there. Michael Sterling joining us from New York. Thank you.